Hello and welcome to my little Overlord theory series about the Supreme Beings, the 40 players who served under the glorious Overlord Momonga. What if one of them was instead transported as the sole Supreme Being left in the Great Tomb of Nazarick? What if all of the many monsters swore allegiance to one of the other guild members? And I believe we should start with the reign of one of my absolute favorites, Ulbert Alain Odle. So what would happen if the Edgelord of Edgelords, a boy obsessed with anything evil to the point that he tried to recreate a world item just to have even more demons under his command, would do to the world? Well, global happy farm it is. Especially when considering that his demonic build might have made him hyper-sadistic, hyper-intelligent, and maybe a little bit more edgy, if this is even possible. Remember, all his previous life as a human was marked by injustice, hopelessness, poverty, and in general being a downtrodden working poor, stuck in a low-paying job he absolutely hates. Trapped in a dystopian world, poisoned to the point that he can't even breathe the air outside without a gas mask. And now he had been given the means to take revenge on anyone who he would judge guilty of being akin to the people that destroyed his life and the biosphere of his home world. Let's just say the nobility is in for some interesting experiences. I mean, without a doubt, the nobles of Reister's kingdom will suffer under Renner, since they implemented and upheld the moral codes and traditions that barred her from marrying or rather fucking Climb senseless. And I'm not saying that she will be lenient or anything, considering how she killed off the survivors of the brothels Climb saved, and how Renner fantasized about chaining up the love of her life so that he can't run away, and she even conspired to killing him off heroically in order to be the one who sits by his bedside aiding his recovery after Lachius brought him back. I can imagine what she would do to her enemies if she treats Climb like this. My point is, I wouldn't trust her with a pet hamster, much less with an actual human being, and her revenge will be cruel, no doubt. But Ulbert Alain Odle, letting loose the most dedicated Harvest Moon player in the history of history, is on a completely different level. Considering how he was obsessed with the word and concept of evil, and how he would go to extreme length to obtain a world item capable of summoning endless demon hordes, I also wouldn't want to live anywhere near a 100-mile radius of the theocracy, unless the thought of a particular large crater at your very doorstep excites you. If this is the case, go seek aid. Go see a therapist, or try to get an internship in the Chamber of Truth under Neuronist Painkill. My point is, as soon as the theocracy so much as touches one of the Floor Guardians, or even the lowest of demons, the entire country will be nothing more than a smoking ruin, given back to nature. And by nature I'm talking about farming activities. On the flip side, the Battle of Cuts would be still marked by a black goat, but one dressed infinitely more fancy than those naked abominations Ainz had summoned. I'm talking about Ulbert himself, of course. And while super tier magic is generally seen as the magic of the gods, as 11 tier magic, as magic superior to any other normal spell, Ulbert acquired a class called World Disaster, which allowed him to learn a spell that even surpasses super tier magic, something that possibly not even the 6 great gods of the theocracy, or the 8 great kings that conquered the continent would be capable of matching. Great Catastrophe, Ulbert's Secret Arcana, a spell so powerful that it could surpass super tier magic in sheer destructiveness. Even Fallen Down wouldn't be as devastating as Ulbert's greatest spell, and the caster was likely specialized in high damage output rather than role-playing, considering he was the second strongest player right after Touch Me, which would make him the second strongest being in Nazarick after Rubedo. So the battle at the field would be an even greater massacre. Furthermore, I assume that Ulbert wouldn't have altered Albedo's background story, so therefore she would be still able to ride her bike horn, and everybody else for that matter. But as for the fate of the average citizen, it might be that Ulbert sees himself in them and relates to their miserable lot in life. Similar to Ainz, he might recall his humanity to a certain extent, and he might try to build a utopia, where everybody lives happily even after. All for the glory of Nazarick, of course. But with Demiurge whispering into his ear, it would likely, as previously mentioned, end in a global happy farm scenario. The Dragon Lords and other rivaling powers would also be quickly attacked and overcome, probably by a full-scale war, waged by the most powerful of guild bases. Though interestingly, Ulbert wouldn't just rush head over hooves into battle. In fact, he was such an expert PvP player that he even wrote a guide about it. So in accordance to this previous PvP preparation and intel gathering, he, similar to Ainz, would first send out scouting parties in order to gather information, and therefore the faithful confrontation between the Black Scripture and Shaltir, or any other Floor Guardian for that matter, would still happen. But this time the battle between Shaltir Bloodfallen and one of the Supreme Beings would be more balanced, or more one-sided, as Ulbert would be able to match Shaltir in battle, if he didn't just order his Floor Guardians to rush in. After this incident, like in our current Overlord timeline, the days of the theocracy would be numbered. But I believe Ulbert would be a bit more aggressive, going for a more direct intel gathering method, by for example sending out minor demons to attack cities in order to see who would come out and fight his minions. So in this timeline, if Reastai City gets demiurged, it won't be an accident. But in this scenario, Sebas might go rogue for good, since he's the creation of Touch Me and Ulbert had very different views and experiences, and therefore were constantly clashing back in Yggdrasil. Therefore, Sebas might be more loyal to Touch Me than to Ulbert and betray him. He and Suare might be seeking shelter in the Arkland Council State, since Sebas himself is a Dragonoid. And while he warns the Dragon Councilors, Platinum Dragonlord amongst them, about Ulbert, some of the scriptures might have already clashed with one of his minor demons, and he might even have employed the downfall of castle and country, thereby making it clear who attacked Shaltir. By this time, Demiurge might have reported that Sebas betrayed the tomb for Suare, and all that is good and right in the world, as Touch Me would have wanted. And this is the point where an all-out war would take place. First of all would be the theocracy, while summoned demons and even the Lords of Evil would test the capabilities of the Dragon Lords. After being made aware of the threat these supposedly high-level beings pose, Ulbert might head out personally and bring them to justice, at least from his perspective. Alternatively, Shaltir might get a second chance to finish off Platinum, and while Einherjar would clash with his dragon armor, Shaltir herself would take out the supposedly strongest being outside of Nazarick, and thereby secure an overwhelming victory. After that, it all depends if Ulbert sees himself in the common folk, or if Demiurge gets to do what Demiurge loves the most. But then again, this is just my opinion. What is yours? Let me know in the comment section what you believe would happen if Ulbert was transported to the new world inside the Great Tomb itself, instead of Ainz. And with that said, thank you for watching, have a nice day, over and out. So as you might have noticed during the second half of my video, I am still recovering from a more than just unpleasant operation, and therefore I have still some trouble speaking. So the next videos will take some time, but I am currently working on lots of different lore aspects, and I've already written some pretty entertaining scripts. So if my recovery goes well, in a week or two I will be able to put out a significant amount of Overlord lore videos. So stay tuned and thank you for watching. Over and out.